Hi, hello, good evening, and good day, whatever it is, wherever you are. We are merged in Australian Survivor, so certainly no shortage of things to talk about. And honestly, it is a little late, right? So let's get into it so we can go to bed. I'm absolutely loving the love fest that we have going on in the chat. It's just always good times and good vibes over here at Strat Chat. I am Kyle Petty, and I'm joined as always by my faithful tribe mates, John Dunphy and Gino Morgino. And this is Strat Chat, arguably your favorite reality TV podcast. You can find us on the socials at Strat Chat Pod. And we're gonna start, I don't know, post it on that blue sky. We gotta get something going here. um, I feel like it wants to be posted on. Like every time I'm like opening up my phone, like I keep accidentally hitting the blue sky. I'm like, we're gonna have to do something about this. It's like, stop. I don't want to get roped in. Is anybody there? Let us know in the comments. Blue sky. Are your skies blue?
Calling all blue skies.
Yes. Are your skies blue and blue? Any losers. Merge has happened, but really right after Kelly left, right? So we're still lamenting the departure of the Rebel Kel.
I honestly can't even I am constantly to myself referring to her as Rebel Kel. Like when I was
love
like
her.
yeah, I was like getting ready for tonight, like trying to remember like everything that's happened, and I'm like, all right, that's right. Rebel Kel left, and then this happened, and then this happened. Like that, she's just like.
I have it actually like bookmarked on my Twitter so that I can always just go back to it when I just need a smile. And it's like you listen to. I'm like, I'm not going to listen to it all the way through. And sure enough, I do.
I'm truly obsessed with her.
Yeah, she's fantastic. I don't know about the merch she's been putting out. Kind of lazy, right?
I did see that.
Like Arial font. Get it together, Rebel Kel. like you can even download like a bootleg Survivor font and try to make it look like something. Anyway. We merged, but not before, Kirby also keeps saying to Valeria how she's not totally sure that she trusts Feras and blah, blah, blah. Really getting tired of that narrative. Yeah, enough now. Enough. There was a little bit, I was on a high for Kirby though, right? Maybe like episode 2 of the week. So,
Sure.
Okay, all right, maybe I'm circling back. But I don't know. The next one tells me she's back on her bullshit.
Right.
But anyway, the reward challenge. This was an interesting one. They had to stand on this narrow beam, balancing this ball on this like arched bow. I guess it's still a bow, whether it's arched or not, right? Because it doesn't really matter. Didn't we see some version of this before? This is not like totally new to us, is it?
Yeah.
Did we see it last season?
We've seen something like this, yeah.
Yeah. I like her. Last player standing wins $60,000. Right, that was also sponsored by Set for Life.
Yeah,
right?
I think
the Australian
King George
version
won this last season.
Just like the Australian version of Win for Life. We know I like a sponsored comp. They got a mattress to sleep on for one night. And then they lost their vote at Tribal, but that also meant they could not be voted for. She really got to play spectator here. First question, do you think they got to like take a quick shower or something before they got into this
That
bed?
was all I could think about.
Right? Because like it wasn't said that you were getting some trip to the Survivor Spa, right? But Valeria, well, anyway, spoiler alert, Valeria wins. But she comes out in that like white robe, and it's like, you're acting like this is so luxurious with your like dirty, sweaty ass. Like, what are you talking about?
All I could think about was that I would be like, can I also have one shower?
Right.
Shower.
Or can I also maybe have like black sheets?
No, I think it was
wash
just
my hair.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, I think it was just an ocean bath for Valeria before
Oh,
getting into bed.
thanks.
That's what I think.
A salt bath.
A
Jamie.
salt bath.
You know, speaking of which, I do have a kind of like a weird question. We see a lot on Twitter, especially with some of the American Survivor players, about how, like, you know, shitting in the ocean is supposed to be something funny. We enjoy doing this. Like, this is supposed to be part of the like Survivor experience. Where do the turds and stuff like go? Are there enough waves that it would like blow it away? Because you also see people waiting in the water just like to like freshen up. We just had an ocean bath. There's like, I don't know, you like washing yourself and like a turd like floats by, like, right? I mean, come on, like no one's ever thought about this.
Unfortunately, this is exactly what I think about.
Or is there like, I don't know, like a separate, that's the bathroom area of the
I always
seafloor.
think about like the hygiene aspects of Survivor. That is like it consumes my every
Right,
thought.
right. Oh gosh. So I'll just leave that there.
If Ferris is still
You
here,
know,
maybe he
if
can
you
tell us
chime
where
in.
Shed
everybody's.
some light.
Yeah, tell us
Let-
where everybody's goes.
Maybe you don't make that much because you don't really you're not eating anything.
You don't make
Rice rice and coconut food. I mean, maybe it's just like juicy anyway. Anyway.
Oh God.
Hi, Jono.
Hey, Jono.
What an entrance.
Welcome to the chat. So any Hoosers, they decide to call their tribe Tase. Apparently that means one in Samoan.
Which I love that it was Scott that came up with this name with how everything ended at the end of this
I know.
episode.
It's like, this is your tribe. But certainly lots to get into around that, because that was kind of like an interesting conversation on the socials this week too. But yeah, we will certainly get there. Here comes Caroline with more of her nonsense, you know, talking about how Feras is a big target and blah 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 blah. And then she wants to work with Valeria, so on and so forth. However, Marcus, who now informs Valeria and Winna the truth about Viola's blind side, and you know, now Valeria's off to the races. Seriously pissed. How dare you come for her girl? Now, I have not liked some of the other things that's been coming out of her mouth lately, but I don't know, the whole V for vengeance. That's really fun. That's certainly been a good time.
Yeah.
And now obviously they're plotting to either get Caroline or Kitty, our two mafia thugs, out next. And that really is what brought us to the immunity challenge. Players holding up this bar with their legs to balance a ball in the chute overhead. Last player standing wins immunity. Now, what did you think about this? Because like it came down to Jaden and Winna, and it looked like as soon as JLP had mentioned, like, oh, don't you want this necklace? Oh, it looks better on Winna. Oh, I just gave up. Like, what was that?
Yeah, that was weird.
Like, it was such a weird, like, anticlimactic end to that. And like, I don't understand what the point of that was. Just because Jaden did not really look like he was having a problem here.
Right, that's the thing.
all.
It's like it didn't look like he was struggling. Was like, all right, fine. Like he was just like chilling.
It looked he definitely just dropped on purpose. But it's just weird. Like Jaden's whole game has been weird though. I feel like this is the first time this week that we're actually seeing him maybe try to do some things. But like up until this point, I feel like Jaden has worked with everyone and no one at the same time.
Right.
He's like, everybody is just constantly going to him to help, you know, with getting votes and stuff, but he's never the one targeting anybody or making a move. Everybody just thinks that he's working with them. So he's just been fine this whole time. Meanwhile, he's like the biggest physical threat.
Right. Like he's an insane physical competitor, but his social game is all over the place. Like, I just don't know what's happening here.
Well, let's get into it, because do we really think that even at this stage, I've been wondering about this all week, well, for a little while, to be honest, like him removing himself from a lot of these conversations almost looks like he's just not playing the game. But is that maybe part of it? Do we know that we came into this game as such a big physical threat? I have to act like I'm so much less on the other end, so you don't think I'm somebody? Because it is interesting that every vote, he's in on it. Even if he's being told what to do, he does have the information. And we always hear, like, you know, information is power, you know, knowledge is key. So like it's like, you don't have any power in this game if you don't know things. And it's like, Jaden knows quite a bit, you know. Even if he's not actively participating in the conversation, he certainly knows where everyone stands. And that could serve him well, like later in the game as the numbers continue to dwindle. What do you think?
I mean, that is fair. It's so hard because I feel like we don't get a lot of Jaden confessionals either.
Yeah, we
So, like,
don't know this is
we're just as in the
intentioned
dark
or
as
not.
everybody else, right?
Right.
Yeah. I like
that laugh. He's just there, always laughing. That little, like that high pitch. Like, have you hear that? Like,
yeah.
It's like he's literally just there, lifting up heavy things, giggling and eating when he can.
He's there for the vibes.
Yeah. I love it. I love it. All right, so there's that. So Winna, did win the immunity. Thank you, Jaden. Now back at camp, the OG Titans, they wanted to split the vote between Feras and Raymond. While Kirby, this is where I was starting to say, okay, all right, because she said, no, that doesn't make any sense. Why would we do that? We need to be going after the Titans, not voting out one of our own. We have to kind of go back to those numbers. Now, this is where things got interesting because, at the beginning of this episode, we saw Scott talking about Kitty and how he felt like he was endeared towards her. She had a very warm spirit, so on and so forth. I still challenge because she's aligned so closely to Caroline. And I make no bones about it. There is a darkness in this woman's eyes. Okay. She scares me every time she talks. I feel like she actually would take somebody out in the middle of the night. I would feel severely unsafe around her. Yeah.
I agree. Some of the looks that she has and everything,
horrible, very Karen-y, very Massapequa mom-like.
No.
Wow.
What a specific.
Yeah. No, that's so true.
That's what I see in her.
Sure.
To look at her, that's exactly what I see. And then she opens her mouth and it's, hey, mate,
It's like, ugh, don't even look my direction. Oh my gosh.
That really was such a specific description that is only relevant to us.
Yes. And any of us my Long Island friends.
Nobody in the chat right now don't know nothing about no Massapequa.
Yeah, what is a Massapequa? And they're gonna go look it up, and you'll be horrified. I promise.
Well, if they're fans of Friends, they might know Massapequa, right?
Yeah, but that painted Massapequa in not a bad light. And I would challenge that and say that was wildly inaccurate.
That was
shame on Bright Kaufman Crane. Shame. So Scott goes and tells Kitty because he says, listen, this is not the kind of person I am. This doesn't feel good to me. I'm a good soul. I have a good spirit. I can't do this. I can't let her be blindsided. I got to at least give her a heads up. But then because of that, Kitty and Caroline go into full gangster mode. And they start running around doing what they do, just interrogating people, just questioning them. Oh, yes. Liz, thank you for bringing this up. The whole jacket thing with Valeria, that also really pissed me off. Telling her, don't be wearing this jacket, X, Y, and Z. Who do you think you are? That wasn't even your jacket to begin with. That was Nathan's jacket. How dare you tell her where that jacket can go? She goes, go put that back. I don't want it to get wet. Look, I would have taken that jacket and driven it right down to the seashore and just dipped it in there.
Maybe she's
no, nobody can have it.
Maybe she's territorial because Caroline had a thing for Nathan or something, and she's like, "Oh, this is his Letterman's jacket. It's mine."
Oh, I don't know about all that. I feel like that. That might be a stretch. That might be a stretch. But yeah, so that's out there, So he rings the bell. Kitty and Caroline had been alerted, and they're looking around. The second Feras walks away from the conversation, Valeria's like, it was him. He did it. It was Feras' fault. Feras is one who started this. So Angelina's jacket gate. Is that from American Survivor? Is that the Angelina we're referring to? Who some call a robbed queen? She was the one who brought the barter to the Survivor universe, saying, "Oh, if we give this up, will you give us a bag of rice?" Angelina's the one who kind of started that. I don't remember what season that was, because that's when I was first getting into Survivor, and somebody gave me a list of seasons, and I watched too many in 2 weeks. So I couldn't tell you a number, but yeah, good television. But here's Winna, being very cocky, just talking about the lies and all the things that are going on in Tri and how happy and thrilled he is to be wearing this necklace. Super annoying, super annoying. Alex and Raymond comment on how difficult it is to craft a plan with so many variables in play. I don't remember that, but thank you, Wikipedia. Kitty's claws came out, didn't they? She's basically saying,
Mhm.
absolutely not. She knew that she was on the chopping block, and she goes, I am gunning for you hard. If I don't go home tonight, blah, 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 blah. All right, my boss Kitty. You know?
Yee.
Yeah. And all of which meant absolutely nothing because Scotty decided to leave the game. Said this was now too much for him. And there are a lot of people on social media that were not happy with this decision. And I'm certainly not my take on it. I'm not happy when somebody quits day one. Like, what's her face on American Survivor last year? She's like, I missed my vape pen. It's like, all right, well, that's bullshit. Like, because you knew you were going to be without it. These people, I think they're in a completely if you're quitting this deep in the game, you've definitely had enough. Like, I couldn't last in a game like this long. Always wet, hungry, tired. Everybody smells like crap. Like,
I have to say too, like, so on season 45 in American Survivor, we saw 2 walkouts during that season. 2 people dropped out. And I feel like so much, I don't know, again, I don't know if it's like an Australian thing versus an American thing, but it was all handled so completely differently. Like, I feel like on American Survivor, there was a lot more discourse than even what I'm seeing here of like people being pissed off, players being pissed off. You know, people would kill to have this opportunity and you took it from somebody and now you left. How dare you? Even like we see on the edit, like players are upset about it. Jeff is upset about it. Like there's all this discourse about like, how dare you? How dare you? And now watching the episode this week, I feel like even just in the way that it was edited together, like it was given so much more grace than what we saw during any of our walkouts. And it's so interesting how differently it was received.
Because they're just nicer people than we are.
But even still, like, because I remember even on this podcast being like, oh, these people quit, blah, blah, blah. Like, we were so mad about it last season. I felt very differently about this walkout.
Yeah.
Well, go ahead, John.
No, I was just going to say that I feel like I wasn't like pissed that he quit. I mean, obviously I was annoyed because he was on my team.
Yeah,
so,
your team's in danger.
One of 3 from my team that got eliminated this week. But
smoked.
I wasn't decimated. I wasn't like pissed. I was like bummed. I was like annoyed. Like listen, like whatever you got to do for your mental health. Like if you got to remove yourself from the situation, like then you should do that if that's what you feel is necessary. The reason I was like annoyed, even more than like when we saw it was Hannah, right, that quit in American Survivor at the first tribal council.
I remember her name. I was like that girl with the vape pen.
right. Because I felt like at least it's day one. Get out of here. We barely even knew you. But like Scott was like such like not that he was like a leader really, but he was like a very important piece of like Kirby's game. So he was involved in things. And like he derailed the whole plan on the way out to get Kitty out. You know what I mean? Even though he was quit, like, and I feel like because of where it is, like at the point of the game, it's like we just had merged. It's like, you know how many people are probably like, man, you couldn't have done this a few days earlier. Like Rebel Kel right now is like, oh my God, if you did this yesterday, you know what I mean? Just like because of like those things, I'm like bummed about it, but like I'm not like pissed that he felt like he had to leave.
I hear that, but I think because of the way that he went out, it actually made it like more interesting. And I think it's even from a game point of view anyway. He's somebody who is never going to get voted out unless it was because you're trying to take a shot at Kirby. And like, so you, and you couldn't, so then you went for him. So I think it opens up different things. And at least you started a few fires before you left. Like, if you're going to quit, like you might as well let everybody just create some chaos and then go.
Yeah.
But it was a great way to go out. If I wonder if he knew he was leaving when he made that decision, like to spill the beans to Kitty. Like, I'll just do this anyway. I ain't gonna be here.
Right. It's an interesting decision because, like, I wonder how things would have been different if he just didn't mention anything and left. You know, like,
yeah, snoozer.
Because like Kitty still would have been. Around and everything. Like, it's not like she would have gotten voted out because he still would have quit. So like, there's still, it would have been interesting to see like how the two sides that are forming like would have maneuvered around it without anybody knowing like what the plan had been. I don't know. it's still interesting what we got.
Yeah,
It's always
still
it's always fun to
interesting.
think about, like, yeah, it's just like fun to think about, like, how could it have changed if he didn't say anything, or if he didn't quit, or
Right.
whatever, you know.
Mhm.
No, I like it. Because it really led us right into Kitty being very regretful for being so aggressive at Tribal. And now she thinks she can like go around on this like apology tour and like make amends to everybody to like kind of like, I don't know, make it like she's not as much of a threat. But it didn't work because Kirby and Mark absolutely noticed how paranoid she was becoming alongside Caroline. And actually believes it puts a bigger target on their backs, which I agree with. That's it. Period. Right? Well, you know, because I was reading it from Wikipedia.
Right,
It's like,
right.
oh, are they going to say something? And I come back and I'm like, oh, no one has anything else to say. All right, good.
That's it.
All right, good. So this immunity challenge, they had to hold on to a rope over the ocean, balancing on different sized knots. I wouldn't have even tried.
I was saying I'd be good at this one. I do shit like this for fun.
Yeah, this is like your other
That's my
life.
competition.
Yeah, this one was for you. But Rihanna won this one. She is going to be somebody to really start keeping an eye on. I don't know about the social end of things, right? But she's certainly putting up physically. Because it was also with her. It's down to her and Eileen on that rope on the ramp thing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
right?
yeah.
She's really starting to like show up and show out. So I'm kind of getting excited to see like what else we might get from her. Whose team is she on? Who
Whose
has
team is
her?
who?
Rihanna. So you have
Yeah,
her.
that's me.
Okay. Wow, your
That's-
team's looking great.
I'm
healthy
so
team.
happy with my team.
Yeah, wow. Untouched for a long time. Like, who
Mhm.
are those people on here? No, I don't.
No, I'm very happy with this.
And why
Well,
is Nathan wearing Caroline's jacket?
I was just gonna say. I was just thinking that. Yeah, that's so good.
Silly.
It's
But
funny
okay.
though, because I feel like there are people on my team that like have been in danger. They just
Oh,
have
for sure.
gotten away with it.
No, I do think that this week Caroline and Kitty they're in trouble.
Sure.
I think
yeah,
one of them is going this week.
I
Or at
agree.
least I hope so. I mean, I would rather like 80-20 Caroline.
Yeah, I prefer Caroline to go.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Kitty would only be fun just to see like what Caroline does because she's running out of people. So I just like to see her uncomfortable. That could be fun.
Caroline keeps killing me too. Like I know that like because there's her name's been out there, and the minute
Mhm.
that her or Kitty's name comes up, they immediately go Mark, which makes sense. But like it's just funny because Caroline keeps like taking it so personally and going back to Mark after the vote and be like, "So you're coming for me again? You're coming for me again?" Like she's so bothered by this,
She
and like
is.
all I can think about this whole thing is like, Caroline, you took the first shot. Of course he's coming back for you.
Right.
You took out one of his biggest allies. Of course he's coming for you.
Yes, and she's crazy. And these people make these moves against other people and then are so shocked when they fire back. And it's like, what do you think this is? If you make me draw two, the second somebody throws a reverse down, I'm banking. I will make it my whole mission. I don't care if I'm like holding onto this card longer than I have to. I'm waiting for it to reverse so I get you back, and then I'm back on track to win. But like,
I'm picturing you wanting revenge so bad that like you keep picking up cards, and even though you have a card you can put down, you just keep taking them until you get a +2.
Listen, I've done it. I've absolutely done it.
Yeah, I can't. It's just ridiculous. Like, come on. I don't know why she thinks that she shouldn't be attacked. But so there's that. So Valeria suggests switching the vote to Caroline. And this is where Kitty is now approaching Feras with the possibility of voting out Winna in an effort to weaken Mark. I don't even remember that conversation. So I hope that's actually factual. So back at Tribal, Mark is discussing on how Scott's departure kind of kept the Alliance lines a little obscured by canceling the vote. I don't know about that. I think a lot of things were exposed. I think what it did, though, is that it kind of forced people to not really know if they could trust people, because you didn't now actually get to put that trust to a vote.
Yeah.
It's just a very interesting situation to create post merge, like for the first vote after merge. That's arguably one of the most important ones, because that's where the battle lines are really drawn. So we were in a delay. Let's see. Caroline feels like no one knows where the vote's going to go, blah, blah, blah. And I guess that's really it. The votes are red. Winner was blindsided. 6-5. Okay. Any thoughts on that?
Number 2 of 3 out for me this week.
You had a rough go.
Right. Now, I feel like there was something hinky that went on with some of these votes. Hinky.
Uh-oh.
Because didn't Rihanna like vote for Mark? Wasn't there something weird in there?
Yes.
And then like, because wasn't he like the original plan, and then somebody like switched it up and maybe didn't tell her or something, like, because there looked like there was some confusion there. She was like, oh, wait, what?
I think Kirby actually said to Rihanna at the end after the vote, I think she asked her, like, who did you vote for? Rihanna said Mark, and Kirby looked at her and went, oh, they tricked you.
Yes. And I don't remember any conversations like leading up to that, though.
Right. Like before the vote, you mean?
Yeah.
I feel like I remember Kitty and Caroline telling Rihanna to vote Mark. And then the plan kept, like, it got all scrambled and things were changing, and I don't think anybody ever told Rihanna anything different.
I mean, Liz says here they tricked her as well, so maybe Liz remembers something that we don't.
Right. Which
Rihanna
Rihanna needs to get it together then. She needs to get it together.
Yeah. I feel like, it says, Liz says they tricked Ree into voting Mark and tricked Alex into voting for the wrong person. That's right, because there were 2 people that were.
Yeah, because it was 6-5, 1-1.
They didn't trust her or Alex. It's just weird. It's weird because I felt like Rihanna had been like loyal to Caroline and Kitty, and I felt like they were trying to pull her in as a number. So it was weird to me that they like tricked her. But I guess the whole point, right? Well, at this point they had been talking a lot about like working together again, the Titans or whatever, right? So like, and Rihanna was a rebel, right, when it started. So I don't know.
Yeah,
the whole thing's kind of weird. I wasn't sad to see Winna go, honestly, even though it was my second person gone this week. I feel like this because Feras has become my
oh man,
decimated team.
Wow.
I'm left with Eileen. I feel like all season I've changed my name to hers. Now John Dunphy Chong. I'm gonna be standing her the rest of the season.
She's all you got left.
And every night we're just gonna be singing that song, you know? Come on, Eileen. Here we go. But I wasn't sad, honestly, to see Winna go because Feras has become like my favorite player. And I feel like Scotty leaving was good because that's a number down for Kirby. And Winna leaving, you know what? You got what you deserve because you ditched Feras for Kirby. So this is your fault. Maybe you would have had some more protection if you chose the right side. Sorry, Winna.
Yeah, and that's what you get for being so cocky a few tribals ago. Because I'll never forget the way that they spoke to them. It was Charles, Valeria, and Winna. In that one little tribal, like, oh, you know, like with this, and that's when Valeria was kind of coming at Feras. You're not a good leader. You're not a good leader. Like they're all just so cocky. It's really nice to see them go. Really nice to see them go.
I think even in this tribal council, because in the little, exit interview with Winna after he got voted out, he did mention that he was cocky in the tribal council because I think he was being like, "Oh yeah, I think we know exactly where the votes are going to go tonight." It's like meanwhile everybody's sitting there like they're going on you.
So delicious. I love it. So. And this is, oh my gosh, and Caroline here. Caroline crying.
Oh my God, I know.
So now she can't sleep next to Mark and all this stuff. It's like, this is all stuff you started. Now, like, you're so like, oh my God.
You created the situation.
Yes, all this stuff about how you're the mafia boss and blah, blah, blah. Don't come for me. I'm so tough. And grrr. And now you can't even go to bed. I'm so tired of her.
Yeah. It was very weird to me. Like we've said, she made the first move. She took the first shot. this is the game. Mark has actually, I think, been very, very nice, very kind. He hasn't been like rude to
Right.
anybody or disrespectful. He's just
Mm-mm.
trying to play the game. You took a shot at him. He's trying to take a shot back. The fact that you're now crying, being, I can't even sleep next to him. This is awful. Like she's crying. Like, oh my God, like get it together.
Yeah.
You want to take all these shots and stare at people all creepily and follow them around so they can't talk, and then you're gonna cry that you can't sleep next to someone. Everybody there should be crying about how they can't sleep next to you.
Right, exactly. As if she's some kind of prize, you know, like it's so ridiculous. It really is. Yeah, but of course Kitty takes her in. She goes, all right, we'll just tell Kirby to shove on down. You can come sleep next to me. You can come sleep next to me. So we had a very unique reward challenge. I like challenges that are set up like this with different stages and people kind of get knocked off as we go. This was played in 3 different rounds. The first one being you had 2 teams of 6 rushing down to the seashore with buckets of water that they now had to throw into other buckets to open up the gate. First team of 6 to open their gate gets to run through. The other ones, not so much. Then once they got there, what did they do at that point? I forget. Oh, they now had to split up into 2 teams of 3 and throw a little monkey ball into the thing. That actually looks really fun. Like, I feel like that I would be good at. Really just tossing the ball like in between like the thing with the string. I feel like I'd be great at that.
I don't know. I don't know if I have the hand-eye coordination.
Oh, I feel like I'd be really good with it. I don't think, but I would have been eliminated. I wouldn't have gotten to that part because I could not have done the running back and forth and like the chucking of the water. Like you lost so much water on each throw. Like that would have just like completely frustrated me and like totally done my spirit in. I would have come back with my first bucket and saw how much of a flarn it was. I'm like, just forget it. Like, forget it. And Jaden running up the seashore with those legs of thunder, just pounding on up. Wasn't that wild? I mean, I was like, there's nothing that this man can't do. Y'all better be careful. Yeah, like oh my
those
God.
legs of thunder. Well, now he's
Scary.
like,
yes,
he's been like,
scary.
really like invigorated by Winna's exit. Now that he's gonna, you see him working out while everybody was sleeping, and
he's PO'd. He is PO'd. Those Jaden's legs in this reminded me of CT's legs in that elimination with Johnny Bananas in Cutthroat with the Bananas backpack. Those are some thunder legs. But anyways,
that elimination, just the banana backpack. I'm sorry, like we talk about it all the time, but like
I was gonna say, I feel like it's come up in every stream we've done in the last like 2 weeks.
And every time it comes up, like I still think like I react to it about it the same way. Like, it really was just so crazy to watch. But you're right, like his leg, like the way CT's legs are just motoring with this human being who is Johnny Banana is a big, strong guy. He's probably over 200 pounds, you know. CT's carrying his own body weight and bananas on his back, just motoring through sand. All right, totally off topic. Sorry.
So good. I was just wanting to talk about their legs, but I had different reasons. So, but yeah, so now you had to throw little things, little monkey things, little monkey fists and such, and raise those flags. First team to do that now became individual, into 3 people racing to complete a puzzle. And this is another sponsored comp. The Australians say Isuzu. Is that what you guys say here? Or do I just say it wrong?
I think normally Isuzu is the way that I have pronounced it.
What I'd say.
Okay, thank goodness. I'm like, that's how I say it too. And I'm like, is that like a Kyleism or?
No, I think that's what I say.
Oh, okay.
It's just It's weird though, because I've heard like, you know how we say like Hyundai or Hyundai here? I've heard some people call it Hyundai or Hyundai, you know, like just.
Well, those people are crazy.
I have heard that before too.
Yeah, like it's just, I think there's just different parts of the world, they pronounce things differently. You know?
All right. Well, yeah, accents and such. Just want to make sure, like, are we saying it differently or are we just wrong? But and they also first player to do the puzzle also got a barbecue reward. Now we saw this Isuzu competition, reward anyway, last year, right? Didn't Simon win this?
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
I remember remember being so happy for Simon when he won
Yeah,
this because
yeah,
like he had such a rough season, and like it was awesome to see him get this. I was really happy.
yeah.
I forgot about that.
So yeah, this was fun. I like that they do this. These two awesome awards this week. And Mark wins, which I was happy about. Like I was not mad about that at all. Good for Mark. I think I like Mark a lot. I'm very endeared towards him as well. And he
It
chose.
also.
Oh,
Oh, sorry.
go
I was gonna
ahead.
say, It sounds like he has like a big job, like hostage negotiation and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And with how emotional he got about getting a new car and saying that like I haven't been able to afford a new car for years, I'm like, somebody needs to pay this man better. If he's negotiating hostage situations,
Yeah.
he should be able to afford a car. All right.
Seriously, what's going on?
That's all. I don't know. Just had that
Yeah.
random thought. Sorry.
It's fair. Justice for Mark. So well deserved. He chose Kitty and Valeria first, which I didn't find terribly surprising, right? Member of the Middle Aged Mafia, and then Valeria, who he's kind of been rather close to the entire time. But then he selected Caroline next. And that honestly did surprise me. I would have thought at that point, like, how did you not choose Eden? So I guess the invisible hand is long gone. Right, whatever happened to that? We never heard about that again.
Mm-hmm.
I do think that like he was trying to be strategic, Mark. I feel like he was trying to. I think that he would have probably preferred to take Eden, but he thought that like for whatever reason that this was the best game move to try to bring Caroline and strike up a conversation. It was super weird because of how Valeria had literally just said that Caroline was the weakest player and didn't deserve to be in the game.
Yes.
But I do think that like Mark was trying to think strategically here. I don't know.
Yeah. No, I hear that. It still struck me as odd. But off Caroline goes.
Yeah, right. I'm not necessarily saying I see the strategic reason. I'm just saying that I think he was trying to be strategic.
Right. I can see an attempt here. I see an attempt. But Eden was pissed. He didn't care about strategy then. He's like, what the hell, man? And he worries that it might have been a mistake to bring both Valeria and Caroline there. I will give Mark some credit here, though, because he really did facilitate a positive conversation between the two of them, which I didn't think was going to be possible. I didn't think we were going to leave from that table with a proper, not everybody be unified, nowhere near on the same page. I expected a lot of fireworks there. But Caroline was actually a little bit more, it could be also desperation, but I felt like she was a little more open than I expected her to be to conversation.
Yeah, I agree.
Just trying to be fair.
I do agree with you on that. I think I had a similar thought.
Okay. All right.
Because I also wouldn't have been surprised if we had seen the conversation the way it went and then got a confessional from Caroline being like, yeah, I was just playing nice, but I don't actually believe a word I just said or something like that. But we didn't get that. So I do think it was genuine, which makes it surprising. So.
Yeah, she went on to. She also said how that it really hurt her feelings and so on and so forth. Just I don't know. It surprises me that she could be so hurt for someone who comes off so mean. Like, you know, I would think you'd have a thicker skin than that. But that's that. For the immunity challenge, this was a fun-looking one. I don't think I'd be very good at it, but it did look enjoyable. You had to balance an idol on a pole, and at different intervals, you had to add segments to the pole to make it longer, and then making it harder, obviously.
Don't stress me out.
This thing, honestly, if I tried to do this, that thing would fall and hit me in the head and knock me out.
I was like, I would get concussed so quickly.
Yeah, because wasn't it Alex who also said like the sun and the glare or something was like getting in his eyes? Because like Kitty ran from her idol. Did you notice that? Like
yeah. I think people were having issues too with like obviously the sun in their eyes and the heat, but like people were sweating and the sweat going into your eyes. Like that makes your eyes burn.
Yes. Yeah. Well, that's why I don't think I would have. Again, I wouldn't have done well, but it looked like it would be fun, like to try. Like if you went to the Renaissance Fair or something like that.
A Renaissance Fair.
Like I'm just thinking, where else would I be where there would be a bunch of people? Like gathering together to play like a carnival.
Do they do things like this at Renaissance fairs?
No, but I mean, well, you can do axe throwing at the Renaissance fair. You can do knife throwing.
The way that is different.
I'm just thinking like a carnival-like game. Where else could you find this? Like the President's Fitness Challenge.
Well, I was gonna say, like, what about like a convention? Like, you know, they have Comic-Con. Do they ever do like a reality con? Imagine like a reality con where you could go and try out games from like Survivor and Big Brother, and like meet people from meet people from the shows. They should do a reality con.
They should. I would go.
I would definitely go.
I'm gonna make some calls. I'm gonna make some calls.
All right, Sean's gonna make it happen.
Reality
Con.
You heard it here first, kids. The founder of Reality Con.
I'm gonna reach out to Sharon Tharp. We'll get something cooking.
Yes. All right. You let us know how it goes if you need any help. Jaden wins because he's had enough of everybody's tomfoolery. I think it's also important to mention that Eden, this entire episode, was really like narrating through him trying to coach Jaden to start playing the game. All right, you got to play the game. Play the game. Come on, you got to get involved. And he's like so proud of himself for making Jaden think about playing the game. That then sort of backfires because like once he won that immunity challenge, he's like, oh, maybe I shouldn't have told him to play. And it's like already you're regretting it. Like, oh, it's just like a half hour old. But Jaden does win. And Eden now wants to target Raymond. So you can start to weaken Ferris's alliance. And then he kind of starts to work on Caroline and Kitty to turn on them and solidify this as a new majority, kind of pointing out that if they did this, they'd be down one number, and now the OG Titans would, be in the majority now. One side note about Eden, I hate the way he holds his water bottle. Have you noticed this? Like he's always like he's always sipping. And every strategic conversation, it's like the cap is on, cap off, cap back on, cap off. Sip,
I think that's like,
and then he holds it like this, like really weird. Like what is that?
I think that's like an anxiety thing though. Like it seems like when he's really nervous, like and anxious, it seems like that, and he's like pulling people to the side for like one-on-one combos or just small groups. It seems like he's constantly taking it off. I think it's like a nervous tick almost. Like
never have I ever noticed the way
I can't believe you haven't noticed because they have like those steel like tops to it. So as he's like whispering, like, listen, this is what we should do, Gina. Clank, 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 clank. And he's all like sipping really loud, like, and it's like, I don't know how you haven't noticed. It's so annoying.
I have noticed it. It definitely. I just feel like it seems like a nervous thing. Like a I'm freaking out right now. I don't know what to do with my hands. I don't know what to do with this. Like
that's very
I gotta tell
funny.
you, I have found this so distracting that I would like have to rewind because I'm focusing so much on the playing of it. Oh my gosh, I hate it so much. Oh my, stop doing that! And you realize you're not even paying any attention to the conversation. Oh my gosh, so irritating. And that's what I thought of in this because I just remember because he looks like he's taller than Caroline and Kitty. So as they're discussing his plan, all you can see is his arm wrapped around the bottle. Like
it is?
But not almost like a little bit further. Like, I don't know, like, yes. Thank you, Jono. Thank you. Yeah, no, yuck. So annoying. So that's Mr. Eden.
So
poor Eden.
He's just,
he's just a Jedi out on a deserted island.
I know. He's always drinking his water because those pretzels are making him so thirsty.
I love all his like funny references too, because that's a Seinfeld reference.
Right. I don't know anything about that. Yeah. I just thought it was funny. So I mean, I guess kudos to Mr. Seinfeld. But that's that. Eden is lying to Rihanna, basically saying she's going to receive votes tonight. Really like pushing her towards playing her idol. They want to flush that out. And this is where, Feras right back to form. The beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. The way that, see, and I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's just because I'm or if Caroline just sucks that much or Kirby irritates me the most. But like Feras does a lot of looking around too, right? He's always watching, but for some reason that doesn't annoy me. There's something about Kirby's watching and it's like, don't do something. And then Caroline just flat out just follows you all around. So I don't know what it is, but like Feras, again, very perceptive. It's like looking around at the different conversations that different people are having with each other, taking note to who is being excluded from some of these conversations, and starts to pick up that like something isn't right.
Mm.
And I loved it. So Feras began to start, obviously, suspecting the Titans are kind of conspiring. Because of the conspiracy. That's why you should read the notes before you start talking about them, so you know exactly where it's going. Conspiring against him, and is now confronting Caroline and Kitty, and did so separately. And they both denied it, but you could see in their face, like Kitty is not a good liar.
No.
She is like really weak. But maybe that means that maybe she actually is sweet. Maybe she's just a weird Caroline minion.
Oh, weird.
But at Tribal, Mark is now trying to explain his decision to bring Caroline on the reward, to try and make amends, especially with Valeria. And they kind of had a little discussion there about burying the hatchet. And that's when they really started to suspect, they being Feras and Kirby, that something was up. And again, kudos to Kirby, because she is another one so super perceptive.
Yeah.
And immediately turned over and said, there's been a shift. There's definitely been a shift. I will say again, I was very impressed with Feras too, in that there was a lot of times when JLP will ask somebody, oh, do you feel like you have the votes? Do you feel like people are in your corner? They all look around and they end up looking towards the people that as if I'm checking in on you. Are we definitely good? What is your face doing? JLP asked Feras a similar question, and he kept looking forward, which I thought was just so smart. I'm not going to look shook. I'm not going to give
a power move. Yeah.
Yes, I'm not going to give you the impression. I don't want you to even start to think where my eyes were going when I turned my head. And it's just these little subtle things that end up they're not subtle. They're not little. And they are subtle, but they're not little.
Yeah.
They're very significant, and it's just. I'm really having a very, very enjoyable time watching him play this game.
I couldn't agree more.
He's damn smart.
Yeah, he's a great player. I do think that Kirby is a great player too, but in a different way. I just feel like
Kirby is brilliant. I think.
Yeah.
I just don't she's working against somebody that
right.
Yeah.
Well, what's fun is that I honestly think both Kirby and Feras could be on future seasons of Survivor, at least one.
Hands down.
And I can see them being in a season together again with their rivalry continuing, or maybe working together as a chain.
Right.
Who knows? But I feel like it's just cool because, like you said, Caroline just follows you around, just stares straight at you. You have Kirby, who I think is not quite as subtle as Feras necessarily, but Feras is just so cool, calm, and calculating, and it's just so enjoyable to watch. My dog is going crazy right now.
All I hear is puppy.
Maya, relax. We're live.
Yeah, Maya, chill out.
She misses me.
So cute.
Yeah, she hasn't gotten a boop from you in a while.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
But I do agree with everything you said. I do
see what's happening.
Okay. Yes, I do agree with everything that was said there for sure. So yeah, this is where the switch really started to happen, and I kept hitting pause. I wanted to see how many minutes were left. I'm there's a lot of time left.
Yeah, I was doing the same thing.
I'm
going
exactly what is right? What is happening here?
Why are we here so soon?
Right. So the vote happens, and we got 6 on Eden and 6 on Raymond. And I have to say, I don't want Raymond to go anywhere. I think I'm also very endeared towards him.
So much more than I thought I was going to be.
Right. I didn't know what I was going to think of him, especially because it looked like he was just going to be I don't know, Kelly Jr., a Kelly son kind of a thing. I was these two are going to really get on my nerves.
Because he truly, looking at the draft too, he was the last guy that I got, which means he was just the undrafted person that I got.
Yes.
We did not know what we were getting with him.
No.
So this is Raymond?
Yeah.
Raymond. Yeah.
I really like him.
Have you noticed? Okay, well, there's only one time that I actually definitely saw it. And I feel like there was at least one other time, but I'm not sure. Did you notice that there's like, I think it was definitely Raymond. He'll on his slips when he's voting at tribal council, he'll like write the name, and then there's like other writing on there. Have you noticed
I've
that?
noticed that happening, but I think Alex did it in this one, at least based
Oh, was
on
it
like
Alex?
what they showed
Oh,
at the
maybe
end.
I might be totally off then. Sorry.
But I
For some reason,
mean,
thought
no,
it was Raymond.
it could be
But
both of
still-
them. I just know like there
but
was one
yeah.
thing that Alex like for sure wrote
No, I
down on the bottom.
think you are. Yeah, no, yeah. Now that I'm thinking about it, I think you're totally right. I think it was Alex. But I'm just wondering, what is that? What
I
is
don't
that
know.
writing?
And
do you
it
think?
always goes by too quickly. Where I'm like, wait, what did I say?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
so small.
It was Alex who wrote something this time, and like you could actually see what it was, and I laughed out loud. Like when JLP held it up, I was like, I can't wait to find out who wrote this, because it was during the revote.
Yes,
That's all you
but
missed.
there was one during the initial vote too.
Oh, was there? Liz says it's extra letters to distract.
But wait, like because she goes, he wrote, like, did he write the words extra letters to distract?
Oh,
Like, is this like what he had written, or he just wrote more letters?
Like he wrote out extra letters
Yeah.
to distract.
Which is actually really funny.
Yeah.
I think that's funny.
I mean, clearly he did his job.
Yeah.
I like him. I like Raymond a lot, and I'm glad he's working with Feras. And it makes me very happy that like Eileen is also part of that crew as my last remaining member.
Mhm.
I'm glad that like my one person left is on Team Feras.
I'm still like, all right, I like Eileen and everything, but I'm still worried about her. I think maybe at this point, maybe she's done enough to kind of prove herself, but she was definitely like pretty wishy-washy in the beginning. And it's like,
Yeah.
she kind of fell into this thing with Feras because she kind of had no choice because they were both in an outnumbered position. I wonder if she could flip-flop again. She'll just be somebody interesting to watch. I don't feel as good about like the trust with her as I do with like Feras and Raymond, for example. So
yeah.
I would still be like, I'd keep her at arm's length.
Yeah, she does seem like the type of person that would be trying to think ahead and potentially be the one to flip if someone in that crew was going to.
Yeah. Like if you're like on a sinking ship, the second there's like a little bit of water, I'm out. Sorry, girl. Splash. Splash.
So it does definitely helps them that Scotty decided to go. That had to be a big loss.
Yeah,
for Kirby. So
again, that was a big blow to people that she trusted. So yeah, and again, like no one was going to vote him out. So like that's probably the only way he was going to go.
Yeah,
but
unless they were able to like, in a smart way, play an idol to cancel out votes, and then they all stack their votes on him or something like that. But like that's such a risk. You got to play an idol to do that. Like this way, you don't have to even worry about it now.
Yeah.
And Feras and Alex both still have idols, right? I just want Alex to become like an official part of the Feras crew. like just get over there.
I think Alex is in a safe position.
I don't think he's in any danger, but I just feel like it's got to be frustrating for him never knowing the plan. It was him and Rihanna were the only two that didn't know what was actually going on in this vote, really. That's why I said it a few weeks ago, and like it still feels like it to me. Like Alex feels like the closest to Simon of this season to me. You know what I mean? Like good physical player, kind of like a funny doofus, but like never knows what the plan is, but like is gonna probably be in the game for at least a few more weeks. Like it's just like or a few more episodes.
But then we had the revote. I didn't know how this was going to go. I was actually, except that I did because I was spoiled on social media, but I didn't exactly know who was going to bring us there because there was really no clues to that. In Tribal, I was like, I don't know how this is going to get skewed the other way. So it did end up now being 7-5 on Eden, and he's gone, and that was done by way of Jaden. Which I thought was just so very sweet, since Eden was the one who thought he was taking Jaden under his wings, and you got to start playing. And Jaden said, "You know what? This is for winner," and that felt nice. That felt really, really nice. And it was Alex that wrote lies and more lies.
Yes.
On Eden's parchment. And I was like, you know what? That made me a little bit more endeared towards Alex because I still had a bad taste in my mouth about him. just from his involvement with PETA and that whole Barbie and Ken crap.
Mm.
Even though that was more her than him, I still didn't like it. But I don't really find him offensive anymore.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree. I am bummed about Eden. You know, he made a lot of Star Wars references, which I enjoyed. Number 3 of 3 that I lost this week.
Yeah. You went into this week with 4 people on Team Dunphy, and you came out of it with Juan.
Yeah, I lost almost half my team in 1 week. But yeah, I honestly, I wasn't surprised by the end of the episode when Eden was getting voted out of the game, because I feel like I thought he was in like a good spot, and like it felt like all of a sudden he was just trying to do way too much for no reason when he didn't have to. Like it felt like nobody was looking at him, right? Was this the first time that anybody wrote his name down? It felt like he was in a good spot, kind of trying to make the Middle Aged Mafia work, but still having some other options, not really having anybody look at him. And then he immediately was like, I'm going to train Jaden to play the game. I'm going to come up with this whole plan. Even though there's people already gunning for each other and nobody looking at me, I'm going to come up with this whole plan to try to make people that haven't been working together because they don't trust each other anymore. I'm going to try to make them all come back together and work together. You know what I mean? And it's like, and now you end up voted out. It's like, just keep your mouth shut. Figure out who the next vote is, stay in the game another day.
Yeah, just make sure it's not you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it was like a way, like he hasn't done as much as people like Feras and Kirby and other players in this game. And I feel like this first plan that he really tried to execute was just way too ambitious. Trying like all these moving parts, trying to get people on the same page. And then at the end of the day, I feel like it totally bit him in the ass.
It did. It did. Well, that's really it, like for this week. The only thing I really remember from the next dawn was that Kirby was now saying again. All right, let's go back to Feras again. Let's circle back on Feras. It's like enough now. Like, I'm tired of this narrative. So I'm kind of hoping this is when Miss Kirby gets smoked. When I'm done with this now. Get out of here.
I'm done with this now.
I am. I'm tired of it. And there's so many other people that are more interesting to get out. Because if you're going to put yourself in the same position that you just got yourself out of, you know, if you're voting off another rebel right away, then like you're now in another tied situation. What? Let's do at least one more Titan and then go back to that stuff.
Sure.
Like, easy does it. You know?
Now everyone's trying to go too hard too fast.
Yes. You know what happened to the
I knew as I was saying it that it was gonna come back to me. She died.
Yes.
Jill.
Yeah. Do you know what happened to the girl who tried too much too fast? She died, Jill. Jana wants to know if we think that U.S. Survivor should go back to 2 tribes. Yes.
Yes.
I will bang this drum. Until all the fabric is gone.
Like, we have talked about this a lot, and you know what? Like, I don't even need it to be 2 tribes of 12 like Australian Survivor does. 2 tribes of 9, I think, would be great. If we want to keep it at 18 people. I would prefer a bigger cast, honestly. But if you're going to tell me that we get the same number of people, but it's just 2 tribes of 9 instead of 3 of 6, I would be way on board with that.
Yeah, I'd be more on board with that than 3. I still want more people. I like when you can have multiple little groups. And I feel like if we could at least just get the 2 tribes of like even 10 or 11, that would give us something like.
Well,
11.
With Jono. Yeah, another thing that Jono said here, and I was just thinking this, and I totally agree with this, Jono. This Australian Survivor had 3 tribes of 8, and it worked. And even that, I think, would be better. Bigger tribes.
That too, yeah.
Yeah, that wouldn't be my preference per se. Like but if you're gonna have 3 tribes, like at least having 8 people in each one, I think would go a long way.
Yeah, because also the other issue with American Survivor is not just the smaller tribe sizes. It's all these dumb twists. Like for us to have this premiere that we had and like you're already losing votes and all this stuff. It's like, stop it. There's only 6 votes out there. What do you mean you lost a vote? Like and people get extra votes and all this stuff. Like, what is this? It's like, I don't know. It's like Monopoly on crack.
Yeah.
Like,
A 6-person tribe just seems so crazy to me too. When we know that things like injuries happen on day one, like we just saw Bruce a couple of seasons ago.
Yeah.
Like
Mhm.
to imagine a tribe of 6 people, and before you even go to tribal council, you're down to 5. Like it's
Yeah.
immediate. Like if there was a 3-3 split, that was going to be really exciting to watch. For like 1 week. Even that chance is gone now because somebody had to
Yeah.
go home because of an injury. And now that 3-2, that group of 3 is just going to steamroll until eventually you have to swap or merge or whatever.
Yeah. And it's almost like they're trying to also create the drama of like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you made this decision. No, but there's only so many votes, and oh my gosh, oh my gosh. And it's like, yeah, but these things don't mean anything to us because when you get to these smaller numbers and everybody's brand new, no one had any relationships anyway. So you're trying to build up this drama that actually there was no foundation for it. So
Yeah.
yeah. My mother would say, boo hiss hiss.
Boo, tomato, 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 tomato.
Yeah. But all right. Anything else for this week of Titans vs. Rebels?
I don't think so.
No, I
We
don't
got
think
no
so.
answer to the poo question. No answer to
Oh,
the poo.
oh yeah, no poo answer. I don't think there's anything else. Is the auction coming up? Did we see that?
It
in the
looks
memo?
like it,
we
yeah.
did see that. Yeah, the auction.
That I
is-
just remembered. So that'll be fun. That'll be fun.
I
But
like the
yeah,
auction.
that's the only thing that I have.
As long as they don't do another like American Survivor twist, like you have to spend all your money or else like I don't know, your vote explodes. We're gonna set you on fire. Like
Your vote explodes.
so he's like just something so stupid. Just here's your money. If you don't spend it all, your loss. Like that's it. Like
Well, I think the problem was they had to do that so that they didn't all pool their money for letters from home or whatever. Like there was like some way that like they gamed the auction that like they had to put in that twist to it.
Yes. You just don't have to do that though. Like it could just be the auction. Like just bare bones. What do they say? If it ain't broke?
That's right.
But that's the problem is it was broke, at least on American Survivor.
Well, we broke it, yeah. But originally, I mean, that's really where the auction came from. It's like, actual American Survivor. Like we did it first.
Do you like when they show up and they're just given a certain dollar amount, or did you like how the U.S. Survivor did it when they brought back the auction last season, where you had to go out and try to find the money, so people had varying amounts and stuff?
I mean, I guess if you have to try and like make it new and give it a twist, I guess that's the only one that I find acceptable. But I never thought there was ever a problem with you just handing them the money. Like,
Right.
we're teaching like financial literacy and responsibility. I was fine with that. Jono likes the idea of finding money.
I thought finding the money was fun because then you have people like Bruce who had like $20 because he just didn't look for anything.
I don't mind either way how they do it, but I do think it is kind of fun that like you kind of got to get lucky. If you're good at if you're fast and you got good eyes or whatever, you might be able to take advantage of this and have a better shot in the auction of getting something. Like that's fun. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't need it though. But I mean, yeah, it is fun. Of the twists that we have, that was the most benign.
Benign.
But all right. So what's coming up now? Monday.
Lots coming up.
Traders US, 7 p.m. Eastern.
Not the finale like I had thought.
Not the finale at all. And we have, what is it? Challenge 46, the premiere at 9 p.m.
That's right.
Did you say Challenge 46?
Oh, you did say Challenge 46. Survivor 46.
Survivor 46. That's at 9. Then what do we have? Next Thursday, I guess the second part of Challenge 39 reunion. I'd really like to bump that for Big Brother Canada at 8. I'd like to make a motion.
I'm not opposed to that.
Okay. And just do the challenge like whenever we see you. I mean, I would like to chat about it, but like, I don't know. I'd rather prioritize the BB Can. We're back, baby. Big Brother Canada premieres on Tuesday, March 5th. pull up the calendar real quick.
That sounds right. That sounds right.
Yeah, the
to me.
5th, yes, because Big Brother UK is on the 4th. Okay.
Mm.
To the return of Consider Me Chuffed.
Consider me chuffed.
And that's it. Oh, and obviously Australian Survivor next week at 10:15.
Yeah,
As we've been doing. So is that all?
I think so.
I believe so.
All right, well, thanks for a fun night. We're out of here. You can find us on the socials at Strat Chat Pod. We'll be announcing our Big Brother Can draft on the socials as well. I don't think we'll be doing that live. It's probably going to end up just being quietly announced. But if anything changes, gives you a reason to follow us. All right, thanks for hanging. We're out of here.